when we're looking at automating things, how should we actually go about doing it? Because saying use a tool, there's a big gap between wanting to automate something and making it so. So the first thing that I recommend anybody does is actually think about what tasks you have inside your business or in your day-to-day that can potentially be automated. But you think about how much time do you spend on it? How frequently do you have to do it? And what is the value of that task? You could write down all of the processes and put some values in and do some ranking around these with a spreadsheet. But what you're really looking for as some of the first things to automate is things that don't even necessarily have to take a lot of time, happen pretty frequently, and don't necessarily add a huge amount of value. What I've generally found is don't go and automate the things that are most critical, like your relationship with your customers or the value that you add, because those human things are where your business needs people. But as a consultant, that means I might automate some of the things that make me more effective at delivering billable work, but the thing that adds the least amount of value is the non-billable administration. So I automate that because it takes time, it happens frequently, and it doesn't add core value to my business. It also means that if it goes a bit wrong, because sometimes things go wrong, if it does go wrong, I'm not hurting my customer relationship. So it's good to think about what is the right things to start automating. You should then work out what the process is. Should be able to draw a little flow chart on a piece of paper that describes what happens in the process. So that could be, we fill in an online order form for stationery at Staples. We then receive an email with a tracking code. Somebody then looks up the tracking code and adds in a log for the receptionist to say, on this day, expect a delivery from TNT. When the receptionist gets the stationery, they send an email saying your stationery has arrived, and then somebody picks it up and manually updates the stationery spreadsheets. That could be the process. So if you can sketch that out on paper, then you can make sure that that accurately describes the process. So you can get the receptionist to look at it and make sure that the bits match up what the receptionist expected to do. Once you've got the process well documented, you can then question, is it the right thing to do? So just because that's the way we did it, do we want to automate it as is, or can we rearrange this? Can we make the process better? So for instance, with that stationery example, which involves the receptionist and picking things up and updating spreadsheets, yes, you could automate the updating of the spreadsheet based on somebody receiving the goods, but perhaps you could set that so that when the inventory, change things around. So instead of people having to do a weekly stationery run where they work out from the inventory what's needed and buy it and then go through that process, actually once a day the inventory gets checked for low stock and sends a message, and then sends the receptionist the relevant notification to expect stock. So once you have something documented, question whether it's the right way of doing things. It could also be like automating the response to a customer query. You could keep doing things with email, or you could look at techniques like chatbots as a way of reducing the amount of emails you get in the first place and speeding up the value for the customer. So take the time to think about whether you could be doing things a better way. Then make it so. Get out your iPad, get out your laptop, start building that automated process. And most importantly, make sure you're keeping an eye, particularly at the beginning, on the automation, that it is doing the right thing at the right time. Because computers do what we say, not what we meant. So if you've done something a little bit wrong or misunderstood something, you might not be getting the right outcome. So make sure to check in. If it's been running for a day, log in. You can look through all the history, see what it did, track things through, and make sure that it's doing it correctly. So monitoring it is an important ongoing piece for making sure that your business is operating effectively.